not often we get to experience David Nixon in Studio B.
Yeah.
Not on the phone. He is actually here.
But he complained when he came in, though. Let's just talk about that for a second.
I was having my best round of golf ever, and I had to cut it short.
14, man.
It was so true. I was playing well, but I was like, man, I better leave. Gotta go hang out with these guys, you know.
Thank you.
But I'm glad you wore your golf polo today, so I didn't feel out of shape. You know, I felt like, you know, at least I dressed to the occasion.
This was purposeful.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
knew you were
You
coming
knew I was-
on the show today.
And you knew I was gonna be golfing today too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There
I had no
was-
idea you were coming on, so I just wore my regular plaid. Sorry.
Thanks, Jared.
There
Always-
was
always
motivation behind this. This is a big day for you. Not only are you in Studio B, but you're on After Further Review tonight as well.
Yeah, a lot of BYU TV today. It's I mean, it's that time of the year, so it's exciting, right? I mean, you know, when you're on BYU TV a lot in one day, then it's that time of the year. So football's here, which is awesome.
Yeah, baby.
I never thought I'd be watching a Hawaii Cal game on a Friday night, but I kind of told my wife, let's cut things short. Like, I want to get back to the house, and I made sure I was sitting on my couch to watch that ball kick off, because then that's the real official start.
Yeah.
And sure enough, here we are, just
Fan-
4 days away.
It's fantastic. Let's talk about the captains for a moment. I believe you were a captain for BYU.
Yep.
What's the difference like for the captains versus the rest of the team at the beginning of the game, other than like you have to go out for the coin toss there, but it's kind of a different mindset because you're not running out onto the field with the rest of the guys, right?
Yeah, no, so at least how it was with Bronco, we go into a room with Bronco, the 4 captains, and we sit down and we kind of have a meeting, and he talked through the coin toss and what his strategy was, if we wanted to defer, if we wanted to receive, but also just kind of what his expectations were with the game, and every game was different. You know, some were short talks and some were long, trying to say, listen, we're going to need you guys to rally the guys around. This is going to be a tough competition. And then some games, you know, let's just go out there and beat them or whatever. And every talk was different. Bronco was one of those guys that, you know, I remember my freshman year when he was a defense coordinator his first year, he was thrown up in the showers. He was so nervous about the game.
Really?
Yeah. But as he progressed in his coaching career, obviously he didn't get as nervous. But in big games, he would get a little nervous and he'd keep those talks a little short. But yeah, then you head out together as captains and you go out there to the midfield. And you were mentioning earlier, it is kind of a bummer because it really is fun to run out with your team. But it's also fun to be there with your 3 other captains and you're walking hand in hand to the coin toss. So.
When you walk out to the field, I mean, that moment is interesting because it's the first kind of encounter with the other team. Although you shake hands, you want to be friendly. What is it about that moment that is like, here we come? There's some kind of intimidation factor to that moment.
Well, It's always fun because when you walk out of the locker room here at home, all the fans are already lined up waiting, so you kind of get your own special love, right? But then if you're on the road, you got guys yelling at you and they're calling you by name because there's only 4 of you, right? But yeah, then you go out there in the midfield and you're right, the whole field's open to you basically. It's a cool feeling, and you know, you look at the team captains this year, and those guys are so deserving, and a lot of them have been through a lot, right? You look at obviously Taysom and Jamal, Harvey with his whole transfer. Even this year, on top of that, he's changing positions. I mean, there's guys that deserve it, and obviously the teammates are the ones that vote on it, right? And so those guys have earned it throughout the offseason. They've been the ones here hosting the 7-on-7, making sure everyone's there, calling guys that weren't there and asking them, where were you, and texting each other before, you know, every workout during the summers. And so they put the work in. Now it's time to kind of sit back and be that team captain and lead the team.
Undoubtedly, you have reviewed the depth chart, and the captains are the guys in their respective positions. But what was your main takeaway from your first look at the BYU football depth chart yesterday?
You know, there wasn't much of a surprise. I think Blaine kind of mentioned that earlier. I wasn't too surprised. Troy Warner, we'd heard that he's a fantastic athlete, great corner, and we've seen him in practice playing well. So it wasn't a big surprise that he was a corner. Offensive line, we knew there was kind of some shuffling going on, right? And Coach Impey, he's been working around all those different pieces, and you know, the guys coming in late or coming over from SU, et cetera. So, you know, Karoma coming back. It was to see that and kind of falls in order. To be honest, I don't think at the end of the game those would be the exact 5 guys in the game. Possibly, I think you'll see a lot of guys rotating. I don't think it's a set 5. And we've seen that in the past with BYU's offensive line. You see a lot of guys rotate to kind of give them a breather, but at the same time give different guys looks. And so, you know, this is the depth chart set, and this is what Coach Satake mentioned yesterday. Look, this is what it is, but it could definitely change leading up to the game day. So, you know, it's a fun look. But I remember depth charts all the time would. You know, in fact, I remember coaches would like forget to change the depth chart. That guy's not even, he's injured this week. And you just throw it out there. So depth chart to the coaches really just kind of a piece of paper they throw out there.
Yeah. Yet, if you're a significant contributor on this team, you're going to make that depth chart in all likelihood, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Like, do you see anyone on the depth chart that's not on the depth chart that's going to be a significant contributor?
No, I mean, the ones that aren't on there that I would think would be significant contributors are injured or have other issues. So, no, yeah, everyone's on there. It's just the order and how they fall, and that's why you see a lot of oars, right? Because who knows, maybe those oars, the guy that's down on the bottom come game day this week, maybe he has a better walkthrough or whatever. Maybe he saw some stuff in film, and coaches have that last-minute kind of inkling. They flip-flop him out, and next thing you know, he's starting. So, I think those are all players that can kind of be, put in and out, and depending on the situation.
And it is Monday. The game is Saturday. There's a lot of time between now and the game. Yeah.
If you were preparing to face this BYU offense as an Arizona linebacker, what in the world could you be expecting? I mean, you kind of have an idea of Taysom Hill and that he's an amazing athlete, but this is a brand new offense. I mean, how are you preparing mentally for this?
Yeah, it's a little tough. You can't really go back and watch some high school film. I don't know if I'd be going back and looking at some private high school film from Ty Detmer's days as a coach down there. But you obviously see that you can go back and look at the actual players themselves, and really all you need to do is game plan for Taysom, really. And as a linebacker, obviously that presents a lot of challenges. But there's a lot of things defensively you can do to kind of switch it up and try to keep a guy like that in the pocket. I remember facing freshman year Bradley Van Pelt for Colorado State, and we played Dennis Dixon with Oregon. It was a dual threat guy, and so there's a lot of them. But there's defensively you have to run a lot of stunts up front, and I would see if I was Arizona, I'd be running a lot of stunts. So you've got the ends and the tackles. Granted, Arizona runs at 3-3-5, but a lot of confusion, right? And with this new offensive line that is still trying to become a cohesive unit, you try to confuse them as much as possible. And obviously you try to keep Taysom in the pocket because, if you look at the film from Nebraska when he was healthy and from the other games from his career, when he gets outside that pocket, he's lethal because not only is he a big guy, but he's fast and he's very agile. He can put a move on you and make you look dumb in the open field.
Taysom Hill's mindset seems to be pretty businesslike. I think he's coming out very excited from his interviews, but I think he's kind of done with everything else associated with everything but practice with the guys and the games. What's the sense you're getting?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot lately with the season kind of getting closer, and that's exactly true. He's really excited. I've never seen him this excited for a season. I mean, and I've known him for obviously a few years now. And he's pumped. I think you're right. I think he's ready just to put all the controversy there was forever to rest. And obviously he was going back and forth, back just 6-7 months ago on where he's going to go to school. That was still up for debate. And so I think with all that settled, I think he's just ready to play football. I mean, it's been a whole year that he's stepped on the field, and he's worked very hard to get back to where he is, to heal, his foot. And so I think he's just excited to get out there and play. And that's what he told me. He's like, I'm just ready for it to get here and to go out there and play with Jamal and with these other guys that he thought maybe he'd never get another chance to play with, right? And so I think it's fun for him to have this second chance.
Well, he has 4 days. 4 days until he gets to get back on the field. How many points will this BYU offense score against Arizona? And let's preface it with what we talked about yesterday. New offensive coordinator generally doesn't bode well for BYU. In fact, they're averaging 11 points in the last 3 games that they have done this. But then again, you don't have Taysom Hill and Jamal Williams, and the offensive coordinator is Ty Detmer. So what do you expect?
Yeah, there's a lot of – you got veteran quarterback, you have veteran leaders, which usually, most new staffs don't have. And then you've got new offensive coordinator. And so, listen, there's a lot of unknowns. For me, first games are always tough. You look back at the Virginia game and things like that, and even Nebraska. BYU scored on the Hail Mary to get above 30, right?
Well, even when you were a senior, when John Beck was a senior, when you were a sophomore.
Yeah, Arizona.
06 at Arizona.
It was our final 2013 or something, wasn't it, or something like that?
And in 07, you beat Arizona.
Yeah, but that wasn't a high scoring game either. Of course, I can't remember the numbers, but I don't think BYU passes 30 just for the sole reason. It's the first game, and you're still trying to gel, and there's a lot of things you're still trying to iron out. You've got a lot of new faces, like you said, on the offensive line. There's just stuff you're ironing out, and for that sole reason, I think it's going to be tough to score above 30. They have capability to do it? Yes. But just because of the first game, the elements. This is the first game for Ty Detmer too, right?
Yes.
He's going to be just as nervous as the players that it's the first time for them as well. And so there's going to be some kinks they have to iron out. Do I think BYU wins? Yes, most definitely. But are they going to score above 30? I don't know. That's a tall task with when you throw in, everything that's at hand.
You brought a different opinion, which is what I wanted. So thank you. And in 2007, you won 20-7.
Yeah,
to open the season against Arizona.
Yeah, not a huge high-scoring game. That's typically what happens because the first games, like I said, everyone's just trying to figure out their role and trying to make plays, right? But at the same time, there's it's usually a little sloppy on that first game. That's why a lot of these big schools like to go with cupcakes, because they get all that sloppiness out. But both teams, Arizona, BYU, going right into it, and there'll be some, there's going to be some turnovers. There's going to be some, false starts or whatever it may be. They're not going to be very sharp. And for that reason, I think it keeps them under that 30 part.
Watch David Nixon tonight on After Further Review. I think he's got 4 holes of his round of golf left.
I got to head back out.
You got to go back.
Yeah, I got to go back.
They're waiting for you to tee off on number
groups,
15.
Yeah, all groups are waiting right now, so I got to get going.
David, great to have you in the studio, man.
Always fun. Thanks, guys.